Aloha and welcome to Wisdom Dialogues with Hope Johnson. Happy New Year! Coming to you from Hawaiian beaches on the beautiful big island of Hawaii. Yay!
So I remember you talking about New Year's resolutions, that's kind of an ego trip.
Interesting. New Year's resolution. Oh, I got distracted by some geckos. They're partying over there.
All right. Okay.
Okay, so yeah, New Year's resolution. They're commonly associated with getting something for the body, getting something for the self, which is not anything wrong with it at all. I mean, it's just um,
In the future.
it's acting, yeah, and it's acting as if that's what you really want is to control the mind. See, like that. Like I see stories about people, they make a resolution to quit smoking and they like even break the cigarettes and stuff, or throw the bottle of wine down the drain or whatever. And it's it's a something to explore. It's something, it's not like anything's wrong with it. It's just something to explore for people, but it's not leading anywhere. I mean, ultimately, it's just not leading anywhere. It's not leading to anything that you want because it's more of a distraction than anything to resist. It's more of a distraction than anything. It's like it's it's more of a try to resist what you don't want to do than do what you feel motivated to do. Just go with your motivation. And the way that happens is always in thought. Is are you allowing it the way you're just naturally motivated? Are you watching? Are you making yourself important in your growth, important in your process? See? And that's an energy that people can play with for a while and will, because that's what they find to be important. So you don't like expect someone to go, okay, so since that's unimportant, then I'm just not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to have those resolutions. No, they would have to see that those resolutions are meaningless first before, that's just not going to make sense to them. It's like, well, really, that just doesn't make sense to chase something like that when it's just going to be distracting me. It's not really make sense to chase a better version of myself when it's just going to be a distraction. It's a different energy than opening up to a possibility, maybe opening up to a certain possibility, and and recognizing that, or if you don't recognize it, opening up to the fact that everything is occurring for you, whether or not you seem to be interested in some kind of a habit, smoking, drinking, whatever, and breaking that habit. Like, everything is happening for you, and you don't have to do anything to break that habit. When you're not motivated toward it anymore, you're not motivated toward it anymore. That's all it is. And the thing is, even calling it a habit is delusional, because there isn't any habit. There isn't any time. You need time to make a habit. All the time that you perceive is projected also from right now. So you can't really have a habit. You can pretend like you have a habit, but you don't even know what's good for you, because you don't know what lesson you need. Not from the level of perception. And from the level of perception, you can know about what you need because it's what you're getting or what you seem to be doing, for instance. See? Come to the place that you are as you are now, And all of those things will take care of themselves. They'll go into balance or go out of existence and or whatever. But it comes from the mind. It always comes from the mind. There can't be any kind of action without it coming from self belief, something seen within and already taken as true. You're just motivated. Watch how you're motivated instead of looking at the material habit, the material habit that's right on the surface. If you're interested in this, not everyone is at this point in time. Everyone will be, but not everyone is. But if you're interested in it, looking at it as in whatever you seem to be doing, it is for you, even if it looks like a bad habit, even if you find yourself maybe like drinking a whole bunch of alcohol and barfing the next day, which might be something that people did last night, morning. It might be something uh, people experience, and that's exactly what is the learning tool, you can say. That is what is given for the learning. And basically the learning is not saying that you have anything to learn. It's just in a dream you take yourself to be what you're not. Take yourself to be a modified version of yourself. So it's a reinterpretation that happens.
And it's like the mind is a virtual sewing machine, like
Yeah.
sewing all the quote unquote moments together to make it look like there's a story going on.
Yes.
I visualize it as a virtual sewing machine.
Yeah. When you can just enjoy whatever it is you appear to be doing, and then your joy expands. So you're not doing things out of joy. Like, ah, fuck, I hate drinking this alcohol, and you're like, all bam, drinking it like that.
Mm.
It's like, if you're living it out of your joy, unless you really enjoy like pounding a bunch of it. Some people do. They're like, yeah, let's pound some beers, cool. But you might find yourself sipping on something really nice, and it's not like it feels like it's oh my god, I gotta have more or anything like that. or or it doesn't feel like something that you have to make yourself guilty over, because your joy is expanding. Your joy is expanding. It's not like you know it, that guilty feeling. I mean, I know when I was younger and I used to go out and party and get that guilty feeling, I loved getting that feeling because I would sit with that feeling in the morning and be like, that's odd. What is that? Because I find myself doing some really wild stuff. Like I'd be up on stage and I'd be doing like some different, and in the morning go and have this feeling like maybe and putting my mind into other people's minds and seeing what they thought of it. And it's just like, whoa, to get that sensation, it's like, what is that? That's so odd. But that's the way the mind has put like this terror onto you. Oh my God, did I do it wrong? And that's such a great teaching tool, that sense of terror. That's something to go right into. And there's no need to get to the point where, you're terrorizing yourself to try to quit a habit. You could if you want, if that's what you want to explore, you know. But but nothing's going to go wrong because of that habit. That is impossible. That is impossible. If you give power to illusions, habit is an illusion, a substance is an illusion. You give power to something in the world, you are setting yourself up for some suffering. It's like teaching your mind that you're vulnerable. Okay?
And you can do something wrong.
Yes, exactly. Well, it's as if you could do something at all.
At all, right? At all.
Because there's a play, there's a play taking place for kind of like unlearning. I've called it learning, and now I'm going to call it unlearning.
What?
Unlearning what you made, undoing it, denying the evidence, so to speak. There's just, when it comes down to it, there's no physical world, there's no physical reality at all. We're relating on energetics. We're relating through energy. There is nothing else happening. The pictures that come into the eyes, the ears, what the ears hear, they're never seen and never heard. They disappear in an instant.
Mm.
All that there is energy exchange, and that disappears too. But the energy exchange is the momentum. It's the type of it's the quality of the vibration. You could say it's demonstrating one thing or the other. It's demonstrating love or fear. And it's and if if the energy being offered is in love, then it's always going to work out. It's always working out. You don't have to try to do anything about it. You don't have to try to figure anything out. You don't have to have any concern about whether when your habits are going to go away, because you don't have habits. You don't have them. That's a made up construct. That's make believe. Addiction is also make believe. Even if there's physical symptoms, even if there's physical symptoms in that, because the physical symptoms are also projected from the mind.
That's exactly where I was going. That's exactly
Yeah,
where. Yeah.
it's one thing, it's one projection. And yeah, it would be a demonstration of a miracle if you saw a sickness get healed. But it is a miracle. It is a miracle every time you let in the idea that there is no sickness,
Mm.
and trust in that.
Yeah.
There is none. Even if you perceive it in another person, they're not. That's not true. And that's the thing. That's like a New Year's resolution. It's like it's not the form that matters. Check in with what the substance of it is. What is the substance of it? You know, um, is there an identification with it? Is it or is it just playful? Because everything is intended to be playful. Everything. Even if you have a New Year's resolution, it's just a playful thing.
Yeah, so I was reading
Right.
this Joel Goldsmith thing. He says, according to the infinite way, one of the greatest sins is desire. Desire must be replaced with the realization of the fullness of life lived in God's presence. Therefore, entire seeking must be for God's presence, for in that presence is fullness of joy, infinite abundance, pressed down and running over. Few experience this because what most of us desire is to keep what we have and have a little more of it. So,
Yeah.
in
That's,
God
that's
is the
big.
fullness of life. Seek not for yourself, for what you shall eat or you drink. Seek first the kingdom, and all these things shall be added unto you. So, it's like just seeking for your own personal self-interest is denying what you could receive if you open yourself up to the Spirit.
Yes, absolutely. It's like whose will are you serving? And
Right.
and one thing's for sure, you can't serve both at the same time.
Serve God and man. Right.
Yeah. So it always comes down to that. It always comes down to that. And And really, if you want to know, you could just listen. It's kind of like an inner listening. Just kind of like listen and wait for the voice. Wait for the love, the voice of truth, the voice of love. You know, it, it's perfect for you. The voice is going to be perfect for you, leading you perfectly along your way. And it's always available to you. So it's like asking for the guidance, always asking for the guidance, it being in that kind of mindset, you know, then it is effortless.
That's it.
Yeah,
Yes.
it
Yeah.
is. Nothing is it because there's nothing that you even, we talked about before, there's nothing that you need to do because there's nothing that you can do. But, it seems like it's important, and one that helps people a lot is to remember that there's nothing you need to do. That's such a common one that just comes up automatically. I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this. Wait a minute, back off. There's nothing that you need to do. And it's like, if the thing comes up, people are like, how do I get things done? You don't get things done. Things just get done automatically, just the way they have the whole time, even though you thought you were doing it.
Well, it's responsibility, the ability to respond to the needs of the moment. That's all that needs to ever happen.
Yeah, and basically, there's not really anything in the moment to respond to except how you're reacting. Check in with your energy body. Just check in and how you're reacting. Just that checking in on how you're reacting. You don't have to try to change anything, but just that checking in on how you're reacting. It demonstrates to your mind that that's more important in that instant than following the thought patterns about why you should be concerned, why this concern is concerning,
Mm.
why you can't have peace right now, like why. When you can, all it is a willingness to be there, to embrace that feeling, just embrace that sensation, whatever it is, whatever you're sensing in your body's senses, and demonstrate to your mind that that's what's important, that you get that perception. That's all there is getting that perception. That's automatic. And you can rest there. You can just rest in whatever the perception is. You don't have to have any concern for it. You can be completely careless about it.
Can
Okay?
you give an example? What are you thinking about when you're saying that? Like, do you have?
Well, it's anything. It's, okay, let's say I didn't have anything in particular coming to mind, but, let's say writing a book, for instance.
Yep. Okay.
I just found myself. I announced before I went on earlier that I just got finished with a book, my first book, and it's the writing part of it's finished, and now I'm looking at any kind of organization and kind of giving it a proofread and then giving it to the editor. Um, and there's nothing for me to do. So that's the first thing. There's always been nothing for me to do as far as even writing the book. So when I saw it put together, when Julie put it together, she said, we just released this as it is. It's perfect. You don't have to do anything. And I'm like, oh, I like the sound of that. And then I get it, and I just got so inspired. I felt so inspired. I found myself, and at the same time every morning writing for a couple, sometimes 1 to 3 hours or so.
Wow.
Yeah, every morning, like as soon as I got up.
You mean
And
changing it up
what's
as you
that?
changing it up
Yes,
because it's
yes, a
changed?
lot of it. Yeah, rewriting a lot of it, and adding things. I added like 70 pages to it,
Wow.
And that was no
and it was
intention.
really, 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 really fun. There's super fun things in there to talk about. It's about awakening with children, and I got a lot of fun experiences to share. So
Gosh.
yeah, so real fun things to write about. Um, but it could be anything. It could be washing the car. It could even be brushing your teeth. It's like whenever you hear the "I need to" or "I have to," it's like you don't need to do anything. It will just occur on its own if it's meant to. And I didn't feel pressured to do it. And that's what's great about Julie too is she just offered no pressure,
Mm-hmm.
no pressure at all
Mm-hmm.
from the get go. The editor I'm working with, and she said you don't even have to go through with it. I'm happy with just helping you and putting this in and whatever. So it was really just kind of like whatever. and then I felt motivated to find someone who does an editor's website, and that occurred, and there you go. But the whole story, the whole scenario, and this is what's big to see. The whole scenario didn't really happen. It's only playing out in this moment. The memory is being projected right now of what happened before, and what there's no book or anything. See,
Right.
that's the thing to see. There isn't any of this. It's just experiences. It's like a wave of energy. It's like a wave of information. You're like, oh yeah, that looks good, and you ride the wave.
Mm-hmm.
And then the wave ends, and then you get on another one that looks interesting. It's kind of like that. You're just getting on waves of perceptions, waves of thought and feeling, energy. It's like constantly, but it's a constant feeling. Yeah, there's always something to be felt with it. There's a constant vibration, like if you notice all of your interactions, whether you're interacting with thought as a thought form or you're interacting, as a person, something that looks like a person, um, you're always interacting with thought. And if you look at how you get even mildly triggered, like in a conversation or something like that, you can see how in your body's energy field you can find a way to relax. Even if whether you're in a conversation with a person or another kind of thought form that's invisible, you know, watch what kind of energy that's bringing up and let it be relaxed. You just might find that you don't need a New Year's resolution. You might find that. But if you don't find that, then that's perfectly okay, because if you go along with the New Year's resolution, you're always getting whatever kinds of messages and information and learning and opening and awakening that you need. It does not matter what the form is. And if you would be willing to know that it doesn't matter what the form is, then you're going to reap the benefit of every one of these interactions, whether it's with an invisible form or a physical form. See? Because it's all you. It's all you. So as you're allowing love to flow into your body's energy field, that's exactly what's being shared through you, notwithstanding anything you appear to be doing or any words you appear to be saying either. That's no measure.
Yeah, well, when you talk about riding the waves, all the waves come from an ocean. So if you're dwelling in that ocean of love, and
Yeah.
you're getting your substance and your guidance and your oneness with all creation through this ocean of love, then those are the waves that rise in your experience from that ocean.
Very nicely put.
Would you say that the energy is the love, the you, energy, love, it's you?
Well, you can say it like this, okay? Love is not really energy. You could say it's for the foundation for all the energy. Okay. It's like energy is an illusion. So we're relating on the in the dreamscape, this dream space.
Hmm.
Relating is through energy. So allowing love in as sort of uplifts the energy.
Oh.
But love in itself isn't, I'm not associating that with energy. The words are just symbols, of course, but I'm not
Well,
associating that,
well,
as energy because it's so much more.
you were saying it's all you.
Yeah.
So you are that love that the energy comes out of?
You
Would
could
you
say
say?
it's you're the source of it.
Source of it. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and you are love. So you're the source of all of the energy that you're projecting into the world. You're the source of all of that. So whether it happens to be, a, a delusional kind of energy, which is basically anything that comes with an upset feeling. Anything that comes with an upset feeling. Look, it's pointing to delusion. Okay? There's no problem with the feeling, no problem with the feeling at all. It's awesome. But to recognize that it's pointing to delusion, let's everything be healed through that feeling. It lets the thought behind it, the cause of it, get healed through having the perception of that feeling.
Byron Katie at her school, she talked about it being our temple bell. When you're feeling when it's upset feeling, it's your temple bell.
I
It's
like that a lot.
me too.
I've said red flag.
Oh yeah, same thing. Yep.
Yeah, like it'll just like pop up. I'll get a visual of a red flag going boing in my mind.
Yeah.
There it is. Okay.
What thought is not true being believed right now?
Really? Yes. And if you need to cry about it, that's not a problem. You have not failed.
Hmm.
You have not failed. If you
Oh,
need to
that's
cry
feeling.
about it to get that feeling,
Hmm.
crying is kind of like symbolic of a deeper surrender than you thought you were capable of.
Mm.
It's like it's perfectly wonderful. And, the more you keep in mind that it is not true, it is based on illusion, the more it's going to heal your mind through the experience of it instead of perpetuating it.
Mm.
And I'm talking any kind of thought of concern, any kind of concern, let's say concern that
Or a bummer.
yeah, or a bummer, or some things someone might do it wrong. Concern over what someone might do. Say you have a perception where someone talks mean to you, and then maybe they looked violent to you, and then you project concern about what they might do. See?
Mm.
That's also a very, you could say, disempowering, because it's disempowering to who you are. It's very empowering to the ego.
Mm. Mm.
That's the thing, because then the defenses are justified.
Right.
You're justified in putting up all of the defenses.
Which is what keeps the person believing it's a person.
Keeps the person in place.
Mm.
There's no way you need to have any concern over what someone might do unless you think of yourself as a doer.
Mm.
Okay?
Right.
And you think of it as if that person can come and just create a way in your movie. That's not how it is. These are more like agreements. It's more like an agreement to give you something, to give you a pointer. This is them coming into your experience, you having the perception of them having the perception of you. That has a very important purpose. You come together for a very important purpose. Doesn't matter for a long time, a short time, and the purpose is healing together, the one mind. There's no one who's separate. So every person that you perceive yourself uh, meeting, happening upon, interacting with, it's all for that same purpose.
Yeah, I had something this morning that happened. I had to drop concern. So I'm here caretaker, and we have these three dogs. And last night was the fireworks. So the one dog got upset and dug a trench under the fence to escape.
Wow. Oh,
And
he went.
the dog was missing.
Uh-huh.
Her beloved dog, she's on the mainland, Darshan, the woman I'm caretaking for. So I had to tell her, and she's all upset. And so then, I'm having to look for this dog. But then I just kind of relaxed into, you know, let God take care of it. Drop all concern, omniscience, omnipresence, omnipotence. The all-knowing God knows where that dog is. Omnipresence, that dog is in omnipresence. It's not lost. And then finally, after a couple hours, the dog came home.
Yeah. That's and and when you're recognized like when you're recognizing it like that, you could just you could just allow whatever you're motivated to do to be done.
Mm,
You might even find yourself still looking for the dog, but you're looking in a different way. You're relating with it in a different way. So it's
right.
not even whether you're looking for the dog or not. It's just that you're in a relaxed state, realizing what it is. And if you don't find yourself in a relaxed state, that's where your opportunity is to get back what you gave away, to get back power that you gave to illusions.
Mm, mhm.
And basically, giving power to one illusion is giving power to everything. It's giving power to all illusions over you.
Right. Right.
So
I
you
see
can't
that.
hold anything out of this. That's the thing. And that's what's difficult for people because there's like certain pet things. It seems to take us some time for these different pet things to unwind, to present them to you and unwind.
Mm.
You know, uh, it's, it's a,
Especially the closest people to you.
yeah,
Oh,
especially, yes, that's right.
special.
Yes, that is. I mean, it can happen from outside of the household, but yes, absolutely. I mean, that'll trigger you to no end and trigger you in exactly the way you need to be triggered. It's really wonderful. And you start to see the total miracle in it when you can get triggered and laugh. You could just feel it and laugh. Is
Mm.
feel the trigger and laugh and realize that it's just love.
Oh, that's where I want to be. Oh boy. I want to recognize and laugh immediately because my son, I was watching my granddaughter yesterday all day, and she was on the iPad with a close friend of hers who lives quite a distance away, and they were playing games all day on the iPad for like 12 solid hours. And
Uh-huh.
my son, that's not something that would fly with him.
Okay, right.
So, but he knows that she's on the iPad here. I told you that before. And when I brought it up to him, there was guilt. I know it. In hindsight, I'm seeing that I was trying to, saying to him, it was so awesome to see them. They were wishing they were together, but it was the next best thing. We didn't have anything like that when we were kids, being
Hmm.
only, because she's an only child, and so is the other girl.
Okay.
So I didn't bother them, and neither did her parents bother her. They were together playing all day long
Uh-huh.
on an iPad, which is my son thinks that's horrible.
I know. A lot of
Mm,
people do.
that's ridiculous. What the hell?
Well, here it is. It's
There I
ridiculous.
go.
What the hell?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. See?
There it is.
Yeah.
That's the one. It's
That's
just
where I need to laugh.
well, it's not even like you need to laugh. You will laugh when you see it clearly. And to see it clearly, there's something that needs to be surrendered there. There's something that you want to hold on to about it.
I
You know,
don't. I
well,
do.
about it being ridiculous. It's
Yeah. It's the
it's
same.
not ridiculous. It's really not ridiculous. And there's no difference between different frames of mind, mindsets, whatever you want to say, if people want to explore, it doesn't really matter. It's not relevant. It's not coming up because of that. It's coming up for you.
I just saw that it's with you saying that it's kind of like the same thing when people say you're on your phone again, with that attitude, and that's how there's a link there.
Well, there's some rebelliousness going on.
Yeah. Right.
So, that's denying love, and it's always denying love for yourself. So just look at that. All you have to do is watch it, and your perspective is going to keep on changing about it until you can see it clearly and finally surrender what you're trying to hold on to there about the way he's doing it, about the way he's doing his parenting is being ridiculous. See, it doesn't, for me, that's not useful. For me,
No,
that's not
it's not.
but there's also not a need to project for someone who does it different.
Right.
That's the defense. That's the defensiveness, and that's not like, I'm not talking about putting on an act. So you should try not to say that or anything. It's good that you say it. It's good that it comes out. It's good that you can hear it and see what it is that is holding you to this pattern. Okay, where you have this kind of tense, guilty interaction with your son. And when you're willing to see that, and you can know that you're not willing to see it as long as it's still there, because as soon as you're willing, you're going to see it.
But I'm willing. I want to see it all.
So that that voice is still coming from a fear-based mindset. So that voice that I want to, that's also coming with a feeling, and that feeling is the same kind of thing. It gets the same kind of love, you can say, or you might call it a process. You might say the same kind of process where the feeling gets addressed as a feeling, as a sense that's coming up. The sense of, oh, I just want to get this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what desires for that in you is calm and patient and loving. Okay, and it's just and that desire is just an offering. It's an offering to you that you accept when you're ready. So what keeps you in, you might say, a state of unreadiness is pursuing any of those thoughts about, but I want to get it now, because that personality that's coming up like that feels agitated, there's an agitated feeling going on, that needs compassion. There's nothing you can do. Savor it. It's beautiful. The unfolding is beautiful. You can just savor it. You don't have to get into any of those kinds of mindsets. They're not really worthy of you. They're not really leading to anything that can benefit you. See?
Yeah. I feel that because the contraction was inside, definitely in there when I said I want this. I can feel it tightening in there.
Yeah, it's just like if you feel sick, you're having the perception that your body is sick, okay? And I don't want this. It's just like that. And that very energy is what's tying the whole dynamic to you. That whole dynamic of not wanting, pushing away. That's your gift, though. That's the gift it's giving you. You when you feel that kind of agitation, that kind of push it away, that's where you're being invited to go into it and be with that pushing away feeling. Let that pushing away feeling, like what I'll notice is in my belly will start to expand and welcome that pushing away feeling until it gets bigger and stronger and kind of fiery, and then it dies out, and then there's a beautiful what's left. It's kind of like, wow, it's almost like it burned away some layers that revealed even more joy, even more sensation of of peace and bliss and lightness in the body.
Boy, that sounds beautiful.
You're so funny, Lori. By the way, I see some people have joined. Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you. And there's a couple new people. So if you would like to talk with me, please raise your hand. Or you can also write things in the question box. When I first started, I only had 2 people on, so I just put both of their mics on because they both like to talk with me anyways. But I'm willing to have a conversation with anyone else who would like to as well. Thank you. Happy New Year. Yay.
I like to hear there's new people.
Yeah. Aww.
So why did you say it's funny when I can feel when you're talking the expanse of what you're saying, and you say that it's funny.
I did?
That I say that. You're funny.
I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
I'll have to rewind it later and find out. I don't remember that I said you're funny about that.
Well, you were explaining the expanse of how it burns. It seems like it's burning, and then it seems like it's gone through the layer, and I went, oh, that feels so good. Oh.
Yeah. It is. It's I know why.
Right.
There's a sense that you can't have it coming up.
Yes, there is.
That's why I said
Hope can get this, but Lori just doesn't get it, and is not gonna get it. And is she worth it to get all that bullshit?
Yeah, and I know. Yeah, I know. I have the perception of people like that in my field, and then also, people who felt like that before also getting it.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, sometimes I think there's thoughts that I am and thoughts that I'm not, which both of them are just thoughts.
Yeah.
That's not the reality of it.
Because getting it is really realizing there was no getting it at all.
Right.
So it doesn't matter to you how you perceive yourself. That's the thing. It just still matters to you how you perceive yourself. And how you perceive the world. It just matters to you. Okay? You hear what I'm saying?
No, it still matters. It still matters.
Yes, it still matters. Yeah, if you perceive yourself a certain way, you perceive yourself as in something that's not going to get it, then that matters to you. That's like important to you.
Yeah.
You make a thought like that important. So, it comes to the point where it doesn't matter how you perceive yourself. So, if it matters how you perceive yourself, that could be a clue for you to just like look at that. But I see that there's some things that are just kind of like getting away from you, where you're just going unconscious with, that other thought. The one that you think is important isn't so relevant, but it's that other one about yourself thinking that thought or something. It's like, you like to bury it. You like to keep this up a little bit longer, it looks like.
No.
Well, that the thing is, what's saying no is not willing to embrace that. I mean, why isn't that embraceable? It's not fun and cute or whatever, then that's what perpetuates it.
Okay.
It's not like, no, I don't want that. It's like, oh, that interesting. It's more like, oh, that's interesting. That's okay. I'm watching that. Okay. That's cool. That's cool to see how I'm, that's a nice pointer. That's cool to see. I'll look at how I'm, at how I'm keeping myself in this pattern, and about how I'm like actually working really hard to keep myself in the pattern.
I'm working hard.
While pretending like I want to get out of it. This is fucking awesome. See, there's nothing wrong with it.
It's fucking awesome.
That's the thing. There's nothing wrong with it. Okay?
Oh my God.
Yeah. All right. I got a hand. I got another
Oh,
hand.
okay.
And it's
Bye.
new. You've never been on. Isn't that so fun?
It's awesome.
Aloha, Celeste. I put your mic on, so I think you have to turn yours on your end if you want to come on.
How's that?
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
Loud and clear. Thank you for joining.
Thank you for being here. I can't even tell you without being emotional how thankful I am for you.
Oh, oh, I love you.
Yeah, Ma, like 100% gratitude, and
Oh,
it's been a long life. It's been a long life to wait for a friend like that, you know.
oh, how exciting. Thank you.
Oh, good news. Good news. Um, the question that I'm sitting with, I've listened a couple times and have had opportunities to like watch some wisdom dialogues, and
Oh,
one of the things, yeah, one of the things that um, I'm sitting with as I feel like I'm, you know, stepping through some new expressions. I hear some weird sounds. Is that my
okay, I hear.
children?
Hold on a second, Celeste, because I hear some other stuff. I'm gonna mute the other people and see if that helps.
Well, when I
Okay.
moved my location, it stopped too, so I don't know if that.
Oh,
Anyways, um, when you speak about motivation, I really connect, and I can really, like, with my whole heart and soul,
uh-huh.
feel how that's the ignition of what we're dreaming.
Hmm.
And I am wondering if you agree, because I feel that my work in the world is to help people realize that motivation, like to help them awaken their senses to that motivation. And until now, the word that really I've been using has been desire. And would you say that that would be a synonym, like desire and that motivation?
Okay, okay, yes, yes. But when it turns into
Mhm.
I desire, as in a little I has these desires to do something in the world, that's a different thing altogether. That's like trying to have your own will that's separate from the will of the creator or the will of love, you could say. See? So
Mm.
motivation is desire. It's not like yours as an individual. It's the desire to realize who you are. See?
Mm.
And that's what's motivating all action. That's what's
Mm.
motivating all action. So, there's nothing to try to manipulate about that. And, if you perceive that you're motivated toward helping people realizing this, then that's fun. That's certainly not your purpose, but it's fun.
Mm.
You cannot have a worldly purpose. You
Right.
could say that motivation to help people to realize something is like a wave that you're going to ride or a game that you're playing. That's
Yeah.
all. It's
Yeah.
totally meaningless, and it's like an avenue for healing. That's what everything is. It could be anything. It doesn't really matter. But if you're allowing, see that motivation, that's like desire, okay, but it's not an impersonal desire. If you're allowing that motivation to be that motivation without questioning or arguing with it, then
Mm.
it takes care of itself.
Right.
See? It's always a matter of coming back to this instant and what is the motivation? What is the motivation of this instant and letting it be without any question.
Mm.
You're not in there trying to manipulate anything as basically a modified version of yourself. You can't be effective that way.
Mhm.
You are always, let's say you are always making the choice in every moment for healing or denying healing. That's all. Everything else that seems to happen, everything else that occurs to you is just part of the play. So you don't have to make anything happen. With feeling motivated um, to show this to people, I'm not sure exactly how you put it, with feeling motivated that way and letting that motivation be left alone, pretty much. Is one way of saying it. Left alone, allowed to play itself out.
Right.
As long as you're not doubting, if you're doubting it too, that's a different story. Some people will be like, it, I can never do it, and they'll just harbor some doubtful things, and then that'll be the excuse for not making any progress, not making any movements for it. But you don't need an excuse to not make any movements toward it. The fact is that you are not capable of moving at all. You're only capable of allowing. So you don't have to, and you don't have to measure your success either. Don't even analyze. Don't even analyze. You don't have to measure your success. You don't have to complete anything.
Right.
When I got in there and was working on the book and working on writing the book, it's like I wasn't feeling like I had to complete it. If I did, it would feel like it was work. You know, the way it was and the way we agreed and how it would be really playful for me is that I'm not under any kind of obligation to even release it. You know,
Right.
it's just occurring and even if I had signed up for that obligation, even if I signed up for something like that, it would just be a free fall as far as whatever kind of penalty you have to pay or something that you agreed to pay if you stop. Because all of that is all for the same thing. It's all for the same thing. So for me, it doesn't have to be set up a certain way. And then at the same time, I noticed where I wasn't motivated toward any of the editors that wanted me to like pay them and and they would motivate me and make sure I was doing it and stuff like that. I just wasn't motivated toward that. But it's, it's just like when you're allowed to, like, I didn't have the feeling that, oh, well, I guess that's what I have to do if I want to have a book. It's like, who wants to have a book? Who even wants to have a book? It's like, what is there really motivated? The motivation, if it comes out of any kind of I need to do something, it's not motivated from love. And every single action is motivated by either love or fear. So that's where we have a choice all the time, is whether to believe in something like that, whether to believe in as if we can do something about it. Like we have this vision. Oh, there's this vision of me teaching people about being motivated between love and fear, and I have this vision about it. That's not personal. It's not even personal. It's, you may find yourself doing that. You may not. It's the joy in being able to have that vision, in appreciating that vision, that's what's healing, and that's also what's going out. You could say, like, making your path easy and smooth before you. You're not putting the screws to yourself. No need to get in that as we were talking about earlier, resolution. No need to get in that kind of bulldog resolution mode. It might be fun and playful to have a resolution. It might be, but it's not like one of those things. Like, I noticed what was funny is this morning I've only had bone broth and water since. Oh, and no, nothing else. That was it. Since this morning. And it's like, oh, that's funny because it's on New Year's Day, and I'm just kind of looking and going, I wonder how long that's gonna go on.
Yeah.
You never know. Something like that could occur. But it's
Yeah.
not like it has to, and then it's not like when it ends I failed because I didn't have an end time in mind.
Yeah.
See?
Mhm.
It can all just be playful.
Mhm.
That was one lesson that came to me with respect to how, to be with the perception of a body, how to, relate with this perception of a body. Where it's coming up with ailments, apparent ailments and stuff like that, and what do you eat and all that kind of stuff. And
Mhm.
man, it just comes down to right in this instant. It's like, what do I feel motivated to eat? What tastes the best? Or maybe it's not a taste, maybe it's more like a sensation that I'm used to getting with this particular food. Um,
Mhm.
and recognize and be there to experience. Look, every single thing you eat, it basically is a drug. It's like a magic trick.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter what it is. Everyone's trying to find the healthiest foods. It's not a drug, but it's all a drug. Even the
Mhm.
water is a drug, okay? It has some kind of apparent effect. It really has no effect. That's why it's a magic trick. It can really have
Mhm.
no effect on the body. It's totally imagined. So,
Mhm.
in bringing that understanding and that awareness to the act of eating is really wonderful. It makes eating super enjoyable, and knowing that it does not really matter what you eat. It does
Mhm.
not really matter what you eat, but how are you eating? How are you eating? Are you eating motivated out of love or fear? Are you eating motivated out, what is it? And, for a lot of people, that's confused. It's very confused.
Mhm. Yeah.
Uh, you know, it's like, it's, if you find yourself eating a double chocolate cake and you're feeling guilty about it, that's what's making an apparent effect. That's what's making these apparent effects. If you're feeling guilty about it and not recognizing that you're really just projecting guilt onto the situation, see, it's backwards. See that it's backwards.
Mhm.
That's what's making this kind of relationship with food seem so real. It's not. It's not. It's totally unreal, and you don't have to take um, any kind of projection as if that food made you feel, or it put 5 pounds on my hips. Did you hear that one?
Mm.
Moment,
Yeah.
moment on the lips, a lifetime on the hips. Is that good or what? No, you trick yourself. You trick yourself. You scale fluctuations. You eat a chocolate cake and then go get on the scale. You're 5 pounds or something. It's like, damn. And then there will be these stories. Oh, well, that's how my body is. I have a slow metabolism. There's nothing. There's nothing. There's
So can yeah, the belief in food is the same as the belief in the body itself, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And
Exactly.
so, and it's like it's huge. It's a huge shift, and apparently apparently extremely lonely space to dwell in when you look at people and they don't really they're really so not ready to hear that when you buy into one illusion that you buy into all illusions. So not it's that's like that 100% thing, and it's like I myself I know like I think I've been like the 99.9% soul for eons and eons and eons and
Uh huh.
I
And
just,
and you feel
yeah,
loneliness is what you're talking about.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. So that's awesome. So that's the gift to you. And that's how you can heal your mind, is to surrender that sense, that loneliness.
Hmm.
Because what's supporting the loneliness is not true. If it's a sense of loneliness, it's not true. The people you're perceiving, if you perceive the people to be not getting it, that's also not true. They're not seeing them truly. They're not seeing. We're perceiving. We're not seeing them truly. See, that's a trick to say that you're not getting it. It's all a projection of what's seen within, but wanting to be shown, wanting to be projected without. See, it's all about you. The story's all about you, even if it seems to be about other people. And the purpose of the story here is to get the loneliness triggered,
Hmm. Hmm.
so you can keep unconsciously believing this about yourself while projecting it outward. No one's out there. Loneliness is a habit. Nothing's happening. No one's out there. No one's delusional. Everyone's doing it on purpose for you. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yay. That's big.
Yeah.
That's big. That's awesome. That's really awesome, Celeste. So now it's not the same anymore. See?
No.
So now loneliness has a different kind of quality. Now this loneliness with a truth in mind, basically, you could say the way A Course in Miracles says is brought to the truth. It's like being thrown on a fire. It's like burned at the root.
Truly.
It's wonderful. And all those people, all those images, they just disappear, and it's only love. It's only gratitude for them showing this to you. Thank you. Thank you. You know.
Yeah.
That's a fun one. I love that one. I'll see that look on people's face, like they're worried about the other people, and it's like, what the fuck? There's no one there. They're like just worry about the other people not getting it. It's fun. They're doing it the way they want to do it, and it's set up for the way they need to do it, just like yours is. And the fact is that it's all you. Even they are you. But there's these different perspectives, and each perspective is unique. There's a unique journey, journey
Yeah.
through concepts. It's a journey through concepts. It's fun. Everyone's having fun. That's the thing. See, everyone's having fun.
Yeah.
It's sweet. Yay. Hooray for loneliness, everyone. Loneliness is for knowing that it's all one. And you could say that the other L stands for love. Add that L in it, it's all one.
I'm so grateful.
Yay, me too. Thank
Ooh,
you.
this is a new year. Dang.
Happy New Year. Started off laughing for sure because everything's funny.
Oh.
Ah.
Yeah, my work. I used to call them wisdom circles, actually, long before I heard of your wisdom dialogues,
Oh, how fun.
and that's that's what I imagine. That's that's what's motivating me is to just circle with people and talk.
Uh-huh. Perfect.
And I feel like that's literally what my work is from now on. And yes, I'll still touch people and teach them about alignment and body work and feed people. I don't, that stuff is, I don't imagine that stuff ever not being fun for me. And yet it's just naturally happening. It's just naturally happening that all there is to left to do now is to speak. That's it. That's the only thing that's left. It's the only thing that I want to do. It's the only thing that makes me come true.
Okay.
And it's a beautiful bridge to in this moment realize that like and it's just about me not becoming unlonely. Like that is the work itself. That's how it's all just gonna take care of itself.
Yeah, loneliness just disappears when you see that it's not worth anything. It becomes not useful to you. So, if loneliness is useful to you, like you think it's talking about you and there's something there that's meaningful behind it, then you're going to have it. You're going to keep it for as long as you want to keep it. So, if you're feeling loneliness, you can even be playful with that.
Uh,
See? The feeling of loneliness, you don't have to get rid of it at all. The feeling of loneliness is a blessing. And it's going to show you what thoughts are keeping loneliness in place. What thoughts are making that triggered feeling arise? You'll see if you ask. All there is to do is ask. Let me see, because you have to hold it in place. Same thing goes with sickness. You have to be holding it in place with some kind of concepts. And
mhm.
you will be shown, and as you're shown, you automatically change because you see the uselessness of going down those paths. You have to see how you have to work really hard to hold loneliness in place. You have to keep reminding yourself that there's people out there who are suffering. You're not reminding yourself of that, you're not going to be lonely. You don't have anything. There's nothing there. Unless you have another scenario, like you don't have a warm body in your bed with you or something like that. But you have to be pursuing, if you look, you have to be pursuing those thoughts
Uh,
to keep feeling lonely. So if you realize I want to feel lonely, wow, I want to feel lonely. Okay. Yeah, what is it that's making me what is it that's making me think that feeling lonely is going to benefit me, you know?
uh,
And it's always some kind of thoughts projecting protecting you, and in this case it was really obvious it was about the people, which is really about yourself.
uh-huh.
It's always self projections. They're not out there. Yay, Molly came on. Wee.
Again, I want to thank you, and I have to jump off because I have one more appointment to keep
Lovely.
this
Thank you for
evening.
jumping on and jumping back off.
Thank you so much. I
Come
look
around
forward to seeing you
anytime.
again. Yes.
What did you
Well,
say?
I will,
Okay,
definitely.
fabulous.
Bye-bye.
I love you. Aloha.
Thank you.
Yay, everyone. It's New Year. Hmm. We start at 3 p.m. For those of you who uh, thought we started at 4, I think maybe that occurred, unless people just like to come an hour later. It's all good. Thank you for joining. So you see how loneliness has to be pursued, just like any feeling. Also missing, we talked about that before. Um, any upset feeling. If there's not thoughts pursued about it, your energy is automatically uplifted because love is always being offered. You have to actively deny it. Basically, pursuing thoughts is how you actively deny what love is offering. You can say what you are offering to yourself. No, not yet. Not yet. I want to do this now. Oh, yay. I got another new one. How fun. Aloha. Nathaniel is what it
Hey,
says. Nathaniel? How do you
it's
pronounce that?
I go by Nael on Facebook. I
Oh, is
have
that
you there.
how you pronounce it? Neat.
Yeah. Happy
Okay.
New Year.
Yay. Happy New Year to you. I'm so happy that you joined.
Yeah, I really enjoy. Just wanted to say that I really enjoy everything you share, and just encouraged by it. It's a new. Well, it is a new thought form, and it's very inspiring because I love new thought forms.
Oh,
And
hooray.
yeah, so thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you too.
uh,
Appreciate
I
what you
can't hear
share as
it.
well.
Oh,
Did you say you can't hear me?
yeah, I can now. I can now.
Okay.
As I'm a little sometimes slow at this stuff, but yes, I'm here now. But
Technology. Yay.
yeah. So I really love and enjoy your daily post, and I want to thank you for doing that because it takes time sometimes, but of course time doesn't exist either. So anyway, I'm just grateful. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for you.
I'm glad you're thanking, and
Yeah.
you always are thanking yourself. All gratitude to you. You
Yeah.
know.
And my favorite is when I get stumped multiple times. I'm like, my favorites are like, well, let me chew on that a little bit because it doesn't make sense to me. And I love those. I love those that you post that I'm just like, let me see if I agree with that. But I love it because it really helps me go deeper and really ask myself, where is this coming from? Where is this questioning of whether I agree or not agree or whether I
Yay.
love it. Yeah, I love it, and I'm just encouraged by you. So thank you. And
Oh,
that Nathanael is really hard to say it, so that's why I go by Nael.
Nael. Okay. That's so
Yeah,
awesome. Not the Nael. That's
yeah.
rad.
And me and my wife are gonna come visit you one day. We live in Huntington Beach, but we want to go to Hawaii and visit you guys one day. We'd love
Fabulous.
to. Yeah.
We'll take you on some bitchin' adventures.
Yay. Hooray. I adopted your hooray. I,
Oh, good.
I adopted that. I use it with the kids I work with. So I'm like, I tell them all the time, hooray. They love it. So
Yeah, you can have that with everything.
yeah, it's
You can have that with
wonderful.
everything. It's like, hooray! Whatever it
Yeah.
is you perceive, because whatever it is, you gave it to yourself.
Yeah.
You, you got.
Oh man, this is great. And she's this is so wonderful because I wish sometime. Well, I think it was for the right time, so it's perfect. Everything's working perfect. But yeah, life is great.
Nothing's happening. Yeah, because because nothing's really happening. That's the thing. If something was really happening and cause and effect were really real, we'd all be in trouble.
Yeah, no
But the
doubt.
fact is,
No doubt. Yeah,
well,
I just
for one thing, it appears that everyone's dying. So there's that.
So what my wife had a question. What did you say, honey?
Hi, Hope.
Aloha.
We are listening on our way back home from a retreat, New Year's Eve retreat, and we were
Oh,
so excited that we get to listen on the first of the year.
Yay.
It's so entertaining.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So it's when I listen to it, sometimes I get completely lost
Okay.
because it's new. But when you say there's nothing happening, does that mean because we're eternal beings?
No, it's like quite literally nothing's happening. It's
So
because
we're just
It's just
Because
words.
we're
It's
just
a fabrication.
projecting. Everything we see is just projection.
it's like a projector. It's like a projector screen. That's why anything can occur. Anything can occur at any time. It's just that there's a fear of anything occurring at any time and trying to keep it linear. And it's like a conscious choice to keep it linear and make it look like the cause and effect on the surface are real, but they're not real at all. The whole past, present, future is projected from right now. Nothing happened before because there's not a before. The thing about time, it doesn't exist. It doesn't really exist. It's also a construct. So every construct that you're perceiving right now is being projected right now from the mind. So there's not really cause and effect like they appear to be. The cause and effect is all an unfolding of energy. We're interacting with thoughts through an energy vibration. We're interacting as consciousness, interacting with thought in this dream. See?
Okay.
So,
And what's the purpose of it?
what's that?
What is the purpose of it?
The whole purpose of it is to you could say return to the knowing who we are, the knowing of who we are, because the whole consciousness dream, it's not happening and it's only being projected because we want it, because we thought that we made a separation. So we're trying to get something in to replace it.
Wow.
Yeah, I love that.
How long have you known this? Like, has it been a few years since you
Practice this.
since you understood this whole thought?
Okay, well, it continues to unfold. I can say that. It definitely continues to unfold, and it continues to be in a way that it could be shared, too. But
Yes.
it's something that everyone already knows. It's
Okay.
just being taught against it. You've learned against it. You've learned against it. Like before birth, before an apparent birth in a body, you know. But, since there's this, and then look, there's no time again. Even look at how I'm using before here. It's like a compounding of concepts on this idea of who you are. It's not that time really elapsed, but there's been an adding on of concepts to the idea of who you are. See? So that's
and so when you get stuck in an idea or a suffering state, you set yourself free by reminding yourself that you're not really experiencing anything.
Well, I'm definitely having the experience of it, but that doesn't mean that it's real. There's an experience. There definitely is. You see the energy fluctuations and become way more sensitive to them too. The energy fluctuations that are occurring, it's like currents running through the body constantly. And those currents are a demonstration of how you're relating with your perception, with these things in your perception, basically thought. These currents, the way they feel is a demonstration of how you're relating with it. So, when it feels like something, for instance, loneliness or something like that, you know right away you're mistaken, that's all. And if you're willing to know you're mistaken, you'll be shown how you're mistaken. And once you see how you're mistaken, the choice is obvious. Because once you see you're mistaken, you can just repent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like a learning habit that the brain does, or that learned programs that we do through time,
Yeah,
that we put a meaning of loneliness, or we put a meaning of pain, or all these labels. But
yeah,
I think at times for me to teach that, when I work with children, I'm a child counselor. I think it's easy for me to teach or to help them, but when it happens in my life, I realize, I come to some awarenesses that I have some of these programs in my head where I think it's happening to me, but the truth is it's not. It's just everything is fine, and
yeah.
so it's that unlearning, I think, for me, and
Hmm.
and my wife said for me too. So it's just
And
it's
every time it comes up too, it's an opportunity. So it's,
yes,
to definitely to be appreciated when an uncomfortable or painful feeling comes up, that's representing the guilty thought that you're taking is true, and
yes.
you get to see that right now. So that's
Hmm.
like really a cause for celebration. Like in underneath it, if you look, you might find yourself rejoicing beneath all the pain.
Hooray!
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right. You got it.
yeah, I love it. Thank you so much.
Yes.
I just wanted to say thank you,
Oh,
and we love you, and
oh,
it's just really
We have
cool.
so much fun watching the show, and
Yeah.
and reading your posts.
Oh yeah.
It's just joy,
We get
and
our popcorn and
yeah,
we just talk about
it's
it. We're
just
like, what?
great.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so cool to talk about the unordinary,
yeah.
the different thought form. I
So
think it's
new. Yeah.
so important.
I
You
know.
know, I'll tell you something real quick. I wrote a book, and then
Mhm.
I reread it a year after that, and I'm like, oh my God, I put all my childhood traumas on this book. Like, it's weird how when you start when you change your perception, you can realize that you're no longer sharing your vomit on people. You're just you're just sharing truth. You're just sharing the same goodness, and so anyway, so yeah, so rewriting the whole thing, rewriting the whole story, rewriting the book, but yeah,
Wonderful. Oh, that's
yeah,
fun.
so
Yay.
thank you.
Thank you
Happy
too.
New Year.
Being
Yeah,
juicy.
what a treat to get to talk to her on New
Yeah, we
Year's.
finally got the courage to raise the hand. I didn't, I just was so lost for so many episodes, and I was like, what in the world? What are they talking about? And we were just like, okay, just allow it to sink in. We've been programmed for so long, so it's not going to make sense. Just enjoy the laughter, and slowly but surely, it's making more sense, and it's feeling right, um, and it's good. It feels lovely.
Yeah, my wife had you as a friend, and she would share some of your stuff, and I'm like, well, I don't really agree with that. Let me see. And then and then when I would ask myself that question, I would say, well, why don't I agree with that? And and then I more often started saying, okay, I started answering my own question. I'm like, look, that's because it's talking to you, and because you have some things that make you argue against that. So it was really beautiful to see that unfold, and
And it's still
it's
unfolding.
still unfolding. I love it. So
How insightful. How
yes,
insightful.
keep
Well,
posting away.
one thing I share with people that listen and stuff. None of the words that I'm actually saying are true. It's not like you need to agree
Right.
with, disagree with them. That what's being shared is an energy. It's a
Yeah.
vibration. It's very happy to be sharing with you.
Yay.
You
Thank
don't have
you.
to get it conceptually at all.
Yes. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And I feel that this is such a treat to talk to you on New Year's Day. And even
You.
though it's just a day, we are just grateful for it, you know, to
Oh,
exist and be able to use this technology. Thank you so
oh,
much.
you too. Thank you. I appreciate you. What's your wife's name?
Amy, I closed my Facebook, but it was under Amy Victoria.
How
And
sweet, Amy.
she'll be opening it soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, I was just taking a little detox from the addiction of checking my phone every 2 seconds and just being
Oh,
more
that's
present.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you were here for the earlier conversation we were having about addiction?
No, we missed that. We were trying to download the how convenient, huh? I conveniently missed that.
Okay,
No, no,
I'll just give you a little recap. There's no
Okay.
such thing, there's no such thing as addiction either because that has to do with time. Okay.
mm,
And there's no detox. There's no detoxing. When you find yourself moving away from something, all it is you're motivated to move away from something. You don't have to buy into any kind of guilty thoughts that you were addicted or you were even doing it too much.
ah,
That's good.
There's no too much. That's why there's no such thing as that. See,
I see.
what you getting the feeling, you could say that you getting the feeling that it's too much is the whole purpose of it, so you can pretend like you don't really believe that you're too much.
Huh.
It's all
You see,
perception. It's
you see,
all
it's when that those are kind of that right there. Like I got lost. They just kind of flew through my head. So I have to go. Like I'll have to go back on YouTube and watch it and
perfect.
listen to it. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that it can sink in because like it makes it makes complete sense vibrationally. But my mind just doesn't wrap
Okay.
sense into it.
Yeah, that's perfect. And you don't have to go back. That's another thing we were talking about too. You thinking
Okay.
about going back, that might feel good to you in the moment. Whether or not you go back, you got the message. Because you're open
Mm,
energy, it doesn't really matter. It's gonna unfold on its own. It's
Yeah.
nice.
unfold on its own. Part of that unfolding might be going back and watching the video or not. But
Mm,
from this instant, you don't need to do anything.
okay.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
you're
I
open
like that.
to receive, and it's kind of like a flower blooming. It's going to present itself to you because you want to know.
Yes.
That's
And
it.
I think what you're also sharing, maybe but my perception of it is that you don't really give it too much interest. Like it doesn't have a hold of your life. Like whether you just share because you share. You just it's just like you're doing you, right? And
Well, I don't
you,
think it's right. I don't think it's right. I don't think what I'm sharing is right.
you right, exactly. You just share it because it's
Yeah,
what you want to do,
yeah. I
right?
don't think it's better than another way.
Exactly. That's beautiful. No, I
That's
love it.
that's why it seems like that. That's why it seems like that. Like I just don't really have, I just share it and then go. It's like I am just really not, you know, in no way, shape, or form needing to prove anything.
Yeah,
Mm,
that's good. I love it. That's why, yeah, I get people always telling me, why don't you put it public, your post? I'm like, because I really don't, I don't feel like teaching anybody anything. If you liked it, you liked it. And if it's for you, it's for you. And if not, it's not,
Yeah.
you know? But then again, I kind of do,
You might go public too. It doesn't matter. You can
it
you can see
doesn't
all
matter.
yeah, you can see all different things manifest. It's just it's gonna go toward what's joyful for you if you allow it that way. You
If you
know,
allow it. Yeah, I
if
like
you
that.
allow it to be like for instance, for me, it wasn't feeling fun for people to come on with all these different points of view, just like totally arguing with it. So I just started deleting them. You
Yeah,
know, problem. It's
yeah,
not like you're doing it wrong or anything. And it's like it's just that's not what I'm interested in. If that's not what I'm interested in for posting, and that's what how I like to do it.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely. And then what I think also is that that's a place where you get to in your life where you don't need to defend, you don't have to defend what your truth is. You're just like, look, if you don't want to believe it, that's fine. It's not
Yeah,
for you, But
yeah,
if you
and
do, there you go.
I don't mind if anyone is disagreeing either. Um, it's just I don't want that there.
No, of course, I get it.
It's
I get it.
like, yeah, and it's something that it's something that you can either allow to be changed, or you can buy into some kind of guilty concept that says,
Mm,
oh, what if I don't let them question me and ask the questions, and I won't. Well, I'm certain, so I don't need that.
I love it.
Everyone who's not certain needs that. They will do that.
oh,
Yeah,
You have to. You have to argue.
yeah,
wow.
that
Ah,
that's where and that's where your spirit is leading you. Your spirit is actually leading you into argument because you don't know.
yeah.
mm,
I
You
love it.
know, you have to.
Yeah.
yeah.
No, it's beautiful. Thank you
Just
so
stop being
much.
critical and stuff.
I love it.
Hey,
Well, it was so nice talking to you. Sending
nice
you lots of
talking.
love, and
Yay.
hopefully soon we'll be hanging out.
You know what I did love the most about you when I started watching your videos?
What's that?
That when the dog would suddenly walk in, or
Or the
or the
kids
kids would
interrupt.
interrupt, you were just like, "Oh, hello. Hi." Like, I was like, "Yes." I'm like, "That is awesome." That's just
A good, yeah.
it's just life,
You
man.
really, you probably really like the one where my son started crying and calling me a bitch in the background. Then.
Oh, I didn't hear that one. Wow. No, it's I love how you underreact, and that's the key ingredient for good
For life.
for life. Yeah, like just like, yeah, that's your thing.
Well, it's
I'm
basically
doing great.
relaxing in your body's energy field, and that's what I share a lot. Is
Hmm.
Yeah,
in my case, there's a constant of awareness of closing off. Any kind of
yeah,
closing off, anywhere that the breath isn't flowing, there's an awareness of it. There's not an attempt to change it or anything, but because there's an awareness of it, there's compassion for however I'm feeling within any kind of conversation or anything. And through that compassion, there's a relaxation. So it's not like I'm trying to underreact. And, if I did try to underreact, which I have before, so I know what the experience is like, then
hmm,
it will become built up and there will be some sort of an explosion that needs to happen. Like, even if it's,
Mm,
but
yeah,
because you can't fake it, and then you're not asked to either. So it's like however you feel, but by watching your reactions play out, they take on a different quality, and they start
yes,
to reveal to you what is motivating that reaction, and that's what causes you to look like underreacting.
yes, yes. I
Yeah.
like it.
You can't like you can't try to
Yeah,
make that.
you can't fake it.
yeah.
Sometimes it just happens. but
Yeah,
uh but you're
it's
able to have the awareness, yeah, to you're like, hey, why did I yell like that or get pissed off, or like,
Where's that coming
where's
from?
that coming
There's
from?
that
Yeah,
questioning.
Yeah, and see, and there's another way that self-doubt tries to present itself. Like
hmm,
if you feel like you actually acted out like that, you
uh-huh,
always come back to it's a movie and it's a learning opportunity, no matter what it is, and you can never get it wrong, so you can't overreact either. You cannot get it
yeah,
wrong. Only
I
react,
like that.
really.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
You can
no judgment to
only.
oneself.
Yes, because that's what will multiply doubt big time.
Yes,
And
yes,
when you have doubt, you're going to set up circumstances for suffering, for suffering for you.
yes, that's beautiful.
And also on another subject, I wanted to tell you that I placed my first order for the Miracle Botanical oils, and it's
Ooh.
I'm enjoying them very much.
Oh, you
Yes,
have
me
them
Yes.
already.
too.
Yes,
Yay!
I ordered them last month and I got them right away. And I forgot I had placed the order, and I'm like, wow, somebody sent me something from Hawaii. I was so excited. And it was myself. I placed the order. And I've been enjoying them so much. They're
Quality.
excellent.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm really happy
Yeah.
with
We
the product.
definitely do the quality. I have
Yes.
Paragon today. You guys might not be that familiar or think about. I'm going to take the lid off, even though there's a computer and supposedly you're not
I'm smelling it by the TV.
Tarragon?
Tarragon.
Paragon. You know that?
Ooh.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So it's an herb, and it's used in cooking a lot. It's usually fresh, but you can get it dry in the herb department. And it's also known as dragon, or it's a name for little dragon.
Hi, buddy. Who's that?
This is Braun. This is my youngest son. He's 10 years old.
Hi, Bron.
Hey, Bron. How you doing?
Are you hiding?
He's hiding.
We're hiding too because you can't see us.
So what does that oil do? What does that oil that you said do, or what is it? What's its properties?
Well, you know what? I don't know off the top of my head, but I know if you go to our
Okay.
website, if you go to miraclebotanicals.com and type in tarragon, it'll
Okay.
show you. All I know is I was at my oil counter today and I picked this one up and it just like really resonated with me. It was almost like I start feeling clicks in my brain and stuff. So that
Wow.
one's been, and I'm just like, wow, that's such an amazing aroma. Like you wouldn't maybe think that tarragon smells so good.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'll have to try it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fun. And then I have spikenard. This is a really powerful, deep one. And it's green. It's the green kind. That's the quality. I don't know if you could see that. It's the green kind of
Yeah.
quality we like.
Okay.
I see
I
it.
see it. Yeah. Where is that one from?
This one is Nepal.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
just got some awesome singing bowls from Nepal.
You did?
Yeah. Yeah. They're amazing.
You know, oils really helped me a lot. And in a stage where I was going through a lot of stuff, and I know that it wasn't the actual oils. I know it was maybe just the scent of it that
Yeah.
that really calmed me. So, and it really helped me a lot. And now that I don't have the challenges anymore, I still use them though, just as almost like a enjoyment, a soothing. So,
They're
but
so much fun.
they have they're so much fun.
Yeah.
But back in the day, I used to use them for like anxiety, aromatherapy, lots of stuff like that. So,
Oh yeah.
um,
Sure.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
great.
So,
It's great for that because you know, I explained before. It helps you to turn your attention. You could say it's like a tool that you can use to turn
yeah,
your attention. It's all magic. It's all like magic in a dream. It's not real, but it's
yeah,
the aroma. The aroma of the plant is familiar to you because it's
yes,
an aroma. You know,
yes,
it's something that you know well, but even before you built all these concepts. See,
yes, yes,
adding all these concepts. So it's like they still hold the knowledge.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. We
But
use
it's
your peppermint on our meditation.
Yeah.
We use
okay.
the peppermint. Yeah, we use that a lot.
Yeah.
It's like a friend. It's like a friend with a message through an aroma.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So it's so sweet. And you know, when we've been talking about frequency this session, about how when you let love in, your frequency is automatically raised up. So essential oils also vibrate at a really high frequency because they don't know the same kind of knowledge that you know. You know, like worldly knowledge. They don't know that stuff. So they're automatically in the dream vibrating on a higher vibration, and they can encourage you into a higher vibration just like any friend.
I
See?
like.
Oh, I like it. No wonder we've been attracted to them, to
Yeah.
just oils in general. And I was trying out like some other brands, and once I realized that you had your own brand, I placed the order. And I mean, it was just happened last month, but I'm loving the quality of it, and they're just so much fun. I
Yes.
love
Yeah.
that they're from all over the world, and there's all
Uh-huh.
these different mixtures that I never even heard of. It's so
Yeah.
full of creativity, and I can feel the joy and the happiness and the
And the
love.
love, the love into
So
it.
I
Yeah.
like the idea of participating in that
Yeah, we'll place
and
another
that
order
play
pretty
field.
soon. Yeah. Yeah.
Yay.
If you ever come to California, we're in Huntington Beach. You guys are welcome. You know, you and your family come out, and if you ever want to come out here, but we'll come up one day because we're.
Yeah, we're thinking for sure like this year. My son really wants to go, and his girlfriend's from she was born in Hawaii. So
Okay, cool.
yeah, it's in the playing field.
The
Hey,
more
would you where are you? Do you ever do workshops or like
big
seminars or stuff?
like a retreat.
Retreat?
I
Yeah.
could do that if you guys wanted to. If you know, and this is for anyone. If anyone wanted to get me set up with a retreat in your area, I'm happy to come over. You
Right
know,
on.
if
Yeah.
you want to set something up like that, and then I'll come for it.
Okay.
Yay!
Yeah.
Hooray!
Hooray!
Hooray! All the way
Yay!
from Hawaii! Yay! I love
Yay! Happy New
that.
Year!
Happy New Year!
Big
Aloha!
hug.
Big hug, yes. Thank you.
Bye.
Aloha! Yay! So if anyone else would like to talk with me, please raise your hand. It's getting close to the end of this wisdom dialogue session. I love you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Any kind of concern, this bears repeating, it's coming up big right now. Any kind of concern that you have about how someone might act, how someone might act is based on delusion. Isn't that fun? Because look, this is something that can attract your attention for who knows how much time during the day. Notice your energy will just go back to that. Your thought will go back to this concern about how this person might do it, what this person might do. Oh my God, they acted like this. What might they do? You don't have to carry that. You can give it up. You can drop it, so to speak. Okay? And all it takes is getting the feeling, not pursuing the thought about it, not pursuing the thought about that person must be a concern. All it is a projection that you are concerned. You should be concerned about yourself and that the separation is real. That's a big cause of concern, thinking that the separation is real. So it's like putting this fear and concern about the separation being real into what another person might do, making it as if it's over there, because that keeps you distracted from seeing that you're actually talking about yourself. The concern you have about how they might act, that's a concern you have over your split mind, which there is no split mind. It's not possible to have a split in the mind. The only way you can perceive illusions is to project it outside of the mind. Okay? As the mind, you have to have something to look at. It's a projection outside of your mind. You could say onto the screen of consciousness for you to see. Okay? There's no split in the mind. You didn't do it. And neither did they, and neither are they capable of doing anything bad to you or good to you for that matter. Yeah, girl. I'm on with you, Yulia.
Hey, Hope, just wanted to say Happy New Year. It's so
Oh,
good to see you on the very first day.
the first day of the year, we start laughing. It just happened to
Right,
be
which is
today.
not real, there is no first day and there's no year.
Oh, I know. It's just for celebration purposes.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's not like you can't celebrate every day, but on New Year's Day, a lot of other people are joining with you.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
It's more common. Then you can keep that whole thing going all year, all the same way, the same celebration, because as you know, every instant is new, and certainly every day is new, but every instant is new.
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
always a new year. It's always a new, let's see, what is going to present itself today? What's the fun lesson going to be today? And, you're never beyond learning until you finally don't see in separation. I mean, really, though, not just
Yeah.
that, like not seeing in separation. As long as you're perceiving in separation, then the lessons are going to be coming up. That includes myself. I'm not holding myself out of that. It's like, you know, I still perceive a body. I still perceive other bodies. As long as I perceive a body, as long as I perceive other bodies, I have something to learn because obviously I'm making this real as if this is better than reality, and it's because I want it. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you can say, people have said, well, what if you just want it so that you can lead everyone else back? And it's like, well, that's everyone.
Because there's no you.
Yeah, there's no special one like that. It's just like that's the desire. That's in everyone.
All right. I
So
know. It just occurred to me last night that in my culture, New Year used to be such a big deal. It was like one of the biggest holidays of the year, and uh, there were so many movies and stories that made the New Year somehow magical. It's all about something magical happening, some magical change happening at midnight on New Year's night, and I just thought, wait a minute, that is so silly. Not that I never thought, not that, nobody ever realized that before, but you just kind of at some point realized that, wait a minute, I kind of almost believed that.
yeah.
Or there was something to it, all these wishes, people wishing everybody, leave all your troubles in the past year and
Yeah.
take only good things in the new ones, and
Well,
wishing for
that's
this
great.
and that. And then,
That's great. That makes sense. Just like every instant, you could
yeah, it's in every instant. It's not
it's
just it's not just that moment. It's
right.
any moment.
Yes, it's like
And then the
all
moment, and then the moments. How long is a moment? How many moments, sub moments fit into a moment? Oh my God, this you can't really tell like this is a moment because
you
moments
can't
keep
really you can't time it. That's why it's just
every
whatever's
time you look at it, it's gone.
yeah. Yeah, it's all perceived right now. Energy fluctuations, energy fluctuating. That's all. Compassion for the energy fluctuating. That's all. It's all that's being, and compassion is automatic with just your willingness to go into it. And I'll give you an example, something like that. You know, a friend of mine was talking about, I don't want that fearful feeling. Like she just did not want it. She's like, I don't want that. I don't want to go into it. I don't want that to come up. So what occurs is this fearful feeling comes up, and then it's like hyperventilating, all kinds of nervousness kinds of energy in resistance to that fear, so that it lessens the blow from the fear while perpetuating it underneath the surface to push it away. But all it is letting the fear be the fear and have the space to be the fear in your body's energy field. And it will reveal so many gifts. Not only that, you'll feel so much lighter once it's risen and fallen without your resistance to it.
It's so awesome. I've been having moments where I have emotions rise, and it's been a while since I've had like weird, heavy emotions rise.
Okay?
And I'm like, it's been so interesting just noticing that and turning attention to it, just letting
Yes,
myself feel it and realizing that there's like a very small space between doing that and attaching that feeling to some circumstance and saying,
yes,
oh, like there's almost like a glimpse where you start looking for why. Oh, there, this is why.
that's it.
Yeah.
It's
And
like,
then it's so awesome when you catch yourself before you go into
yes,
justifying it.
yes, or even after. It doesn't matter if you go into justifying it. It's your choice. You can come back out as soon as you see you went into
That's
it.
true. There were times when I already justified it.
It's really wonderful because you see yourself leading yourself down this path where you are justifying that feeling. And it's like you're just, once you get to a certain point, you're like, I can't even go there. Like,
Right. No, it's almost like you're watching a movie of yourself reacting, you know?
yeah, yeah.
It's
It's
like,
like,
oh, this is what I'm
like,
doing. I see, or this is what's happening.
yeah, you can only victimize yourself. It's like, why would you want to flog yourself? As soon as you find out you're doing that, you drop that thing.
Yep.
And it's back to love, baby.
Yay!
Hooray, everyone.
Love you, Hope.
Hey, aloha and happy
Aloha.
New Year.
Happy New Year.
How do you say it, Bob? Is it Ha'oli o? Well, now I want to say it in Hawaiian. It's Ha'oli something, Bob.
Happy New Year in Hawaiian?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I said it before. I said it before. Ha'oli. Oh, here it is. Ha'oli makahiki ho. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then Mele Maka.
Mele Kalikimaka is Merry Christmas, but that's over. So now it's Haoli Makahiki Ho. Yay!
All right.
I love saying that. All right, everyone. So it's Tuesdays at 3 p.m. Hawaii time. And remember, the time changes on the mainland. So check it out. Make sure you come in at 3 p.m. Hawaii time, which doesn't change. Yay. And if you would like to join my Facebook group for these, it's Facebook.com/groups/Wisdom Dialogues. Also, I have a book coming out. Yay! Ron's being back up. I don't know if you guys can hear him, but he's going, wow, a book. So there will be more on that soon. And if you'd like to watch all these videos, you can go to wisdomdialogues.org, right? Yeah, it is .org. Wisdomdialogue.org. Wisdomdialogues.org. If you like amazing and high quality essential oils, you would probably really be stoked on our website called miraclebotanicals.com. Yes. And if you would like to reach out to me, you could just send it to hope@miraclebotanicals.com. Yay. I love you so much, and thank you for joining. Until next week, aloha and ha'oli makahiki ho. Hooray. It means Happy New Year. Isn't that fun?